big up to all those in YouTube land. Where is JPT? The guy must have been overslept or drunk, but I got Hot Fuzzy here for Blues previews. Man United versus Chelsea at Old Trafford. Let's get into this. Big up everyone in YouTube land. Hope everyone is doing good and well. Forgive me if you can hear banging and smacking in the background of mine. We got a builder coming in doing some late repairs that he had to do
They're beating
yesterday.
the neighbour up.
Yeah. We're
using tools.
Yeah, we've murdered the next door neighbour, and we're just burying him and resetting the concrete before the police get here. So, if you can hear the banging, crashing, smashing, screaming, or anything like that, it's good for this time. Just don't snitch on us, okay? Big up to Hot Fuzz, brother. Long time. How you been, my guy? You alright, yeah?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's been a tumultuous start to the season, but things are happening. Biryani seems to be on the menu for a lot of United lot now. Yeah. But I've never had biryani myself, but if we are smashing teams, then maybe I have to make an exception and
I'm
get
sorry,
a hold
mate.
of some.
I'm sorry, mate. I don't mean to be horrible. You've had the same manager bounce for this squad with about, I don't know if I think about 8 or 9 of the players are still the same for your last 3 or 4 managers, but you need to ship some of these players out. I don't think the manager's all the problem. But yeah, mad week for Man United. Absolutely mad week for Man United. Get into it. Tell me, like, what has been happening at Manchester United this week? Give me the lowdown.
The lowdown, well, it's not really a lot. Well, there is a lot that's lower than Man United, but the featurette of this week, the statement of this week is Ten Hag out, Amorim in, and Rude's Reds holding down the fort for the next week or so before change is here. And
next week, he's appointed to take over next week, isn't it?
So he officially becomes the Man United manager when we break up for the third international break in this season already. And yeah, I think he's just going to have a bit of time to sort of bed himself in a little bit, do some work with the guys that aren't called up to international duty, figure out what his approach is going to be, and set himself up for the Ipswich game that happens on the 24th, Sunday 24th, I believe. And yeah, once we've got that figured out, it's a few games as like warm-ups, you could say, before we get some really, really big tests in Arsenal coming to, well, actually we go to the Emirates, so it'll be tested early. But a couple of games to sort of cut its teeth on. But it'll be interesting to see what position we are in by the time we get there, because we've got Rude to fill out for another 2 games in the Prem. Got you guys tomorrow, and then of course Leicester next weekend.
Tell me, right? In your opinion, don't give me the immediate. Give me your direct personal opinion on why they finally lost patience with Ten
Hag. I think there's probably a feeling that there's like we want to help you, we want to back you. If I'm speaking from like a boardroom perspective, we'll give you players that that fit the mold and the style that you want to try and exert from this team, try and play a certain way. So we'll find you players that fit that profile, and you've not vetoed anything. You've agreed with everything that we've done. So we're expecting you to be able to, change and fine tune your system to incorporate playing better, competing more, picking
you said
up
about
more
the players. What players would you say have been brought in to incorporate what would have been his style? There's obviously De Ligt as one of them. Who else?
What you've got Delict, you've got Mazraoui, who basically
Chocolate McMilk,
um,
man.
big up
We got
DJ.
DJ Craig.
But yeah, the Mazraoui, because he replaced Wan-Bissaka. I think Wan-Bissaka was a bit more short-term planning for it because Wan-Bissaka wanted out essentially. Got rid of him, had to bring in another right back for squad depth reasons. I think Manuel Agarte, we needed somebody who's got high defensive work rate. And one of the things that we'd established last season is that there's no midfielders with higher defensive work rate.
I like
Because they're
Agarte.
getting,
I think he's a good player.
they're getting caught out a lot, like Mainu and Casemiro when they're isolated in midfield. I think having somebody else there would have featured, would have provided, substantial cover from a defensive standpoint. But I think it's like you spend the sort of money you do for these players from a board perspective, and you say, well, this should help you out, and then the manager's pretty much just not playing them. And it
is because he hasn't started many of them, has he? So
he said
it was strange.
he's saying to the media, well, we're trying to just bed him in slowly. We're trying to get him used to culture, get him used to life, get him comfortable first. And they're like, you didn't give the same courtesy to Mazraoui. You didn't really give as much of the same courtesy to Matthijs de Ligt. Ironically, he came in the second Maguire started doing a foolishness against Brighton. Did a foolishness, cost a goal, out the team, de Ligt straight in. And I think there's just a general consensus that how he managed this team, like players, rotation, starting 11s, game management.
Wait, the World Series has got nothing to do with us, DJ. We don't celebrate the World Series at Chelsea, bro.
I was Todd Bowley's team that won the World Series.
Yeah, I know, but
So-
Todd Bowley's team doesn't affect ours. Just like if we win the Champions League, it doesn't affect his baseball team.
Man United's living proof of that. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers won like the Super Bowl or something. Didn't change jack for the Glazers.
No, of course not.
It didn't do anything for them. So,
Doesn't change jack for us either.
but yeah, it's
Big up Aces, Andy Murray fuzzy.
where the Sandy Murray stuff
I'll
comes
tell you what,
from.
it's the facial. No. It's the facial shape. Because like you've got a nice flat face, I like. Well, I've got a big head, right? You know what I mean? Like you got the flat face. You know, if you had curly hair and a frizzier beard, I'll tell you what. Yeah, you could be a bit Murray-ish.
I swear his head's like more narrower. Mine's wider. Mine's more like a Minecraft character. Mine's more cute. Yeah, call me Herobrine or something.
You won anyway. DJ Crane says you won 2-2 with Eric Ten Hag. I think he's referring to trophies.
Yeah, trophy accumulation. I think it's one of those where it's knockout competitions. You can appreciate that you win the trophies. You don't play well in doing so, but you can't ignore at the same time that league form is suffering and is regressing and getting worse.
Yeah, it was bad, didn't it? Your worst start since 1960 something, wasn't it?
Well, it's the worst ever start to a Premier League season for this season, that is. Last season, we finished as the worst ever Premier League campaign for Manchester United Football Club. And then it was before the first season of Ten Hag that he adopted the at that point the worst performing Premier League Man United team. So he's gone from a record low.
Yeah, he's lowered the bar.
Yeah, so and that's not even the very next season. That's the season after the previous season, where he kept things a bit more sturdy in the league and was picking up points even though you weren't playing great. You're picking up points and you had a sort of stubbornness to your team. And I go through those last two seasons and I'm thinking, well, you've been given the blessing of a contract. Well, not necessarily a proper contract renewal or anything, but it's more like a nod of the head from the board to say, we're going to keep you on, but you need to repay our faith in going up gears here. Because I've sat here and said, well, look, I'll give him, based off of that decision, the benefit of the doubt that he's not had things his way. He's had this Ineos big club review that's looked at not what's happened just the last 2 or 3 seasons, but what the train of patterns have been going on for like the past 10 into 15. Like it's analysing what the decline was about, where the
Yeah,
problem
you're still.
started.
Would you not say the lingering effect from the Fergie thing is still going on to this day from when he left? Would you not say that's fair?
I think there is definitely. I suppose there is this constant notion that there's Sir Alex Ferguson is always in and around the club, and what until recently he was an ambassador of the club and was getting quite a lot of money paid to him to fulfill that role. But Ineos, I suppose, what they've done is they basically looked at the situation where everyone's all sentimental over history, and it's just like, oh, Fergie, you can't treat him. He should be allowed to do anything he wants. And I'm thinking that's precisely one of the reasons why Man United are getting overtaken by everybody else that are building to plans for the future. Like, as seconds the club stops thinking about future and starts thinking about the past, that's when the brakes start getting lit up. That's it. You stop progressing and you stop planning for your future. So when the future comes to your door, you don't know what to do with it. So Manchester United with Ineos, whilst I'm sure it's a bit of a pain in the heart, like, oh, my beloved legend, and don't get me wrong, Ferguson is a very big part as to why I supported Manchester United, the way in which he had his team playing football. But you have to let sometimes good things come to an end. You have to let certain things go. And Ineos, one thing I can appreciate about them is they're trying to cut off all of this affiliation to
Nostalgia,
the
yeah,
past.
yeah. The
Won't
nostalgia effect, yeah.
let's
It's like being
start
hooked. It's like
building.
being hooked on an old girlfriend. Like, I miss making hugging her.
Yeah,
You know,
it's better for you to move on and not wait around to think about what happened in the past, but to think about what can be in the future. And that's one of the
exactly.
things that I can appreciate Ineos perhaps trying to change the focus of the club. Stop looking at all what was great. Think about what can be great, and
Hmm.
make the most of what's in front of you.
Of course. Oh, yeah, I've just read that as well. Just the Bournemouth have
Bournemouth,
gone
yeah.
2-0 up. City in the mud. City in the mud. Now it's going down to earth. City in the mud. But there we
Mate,
go.
do you
No
know
midfield.
what? Fuck this Man City Liverpool Arsenal title race. Let's you're finding your feet. Man United with Amorim, maybe we can find our feet. Hey, let's turn this into a Man United Chelsea title race.
Yeah, why not?
fuck,
Why not?
fuck the others. We'll do this. We'll take for ourselves.
All right, Aces, just to let you know, right? The only reason why my forehead looks big is because I've got my hair behind my headphones. Okay, so don't worry about my hair. My hair is there. It's just behind my headset because you wouldn't be able to see me if it wasn't. Canute broke his arm in the first half. Oh shit!
In the
Oh yeah,
second half.
they got a
It was.
they got a big injury problem then. Well, the thing is about City, Arsenal, and Liverpool now, they're starting to accumulate injuries. I'll tell you what, if Man United could get going and we could maintain form, we could arguably be in a top 3-4 race, to be honest, for us. Because when you look at it, okay, this isn't where Arsenal are blistering off, or City are blistering off, or Liverpool are blistering off. Normally, what you get in over the last, say, 5 seasons. Because normally, over the last 5 seasons, it's either been Man City go boom and they win, or Arsenal go boom and then Man City overtake them and win.
Yeah.
That's how it's been for the last 2. So you know what I mean, like, and if they're all, because I'm not being funny, Liverpool, I don't think their midfield's as good as it should be yet.
They're
Man City,
missing a solid 6 in that
yeah,
team.
exactly, yeah, you can see them.
Endo's their only recognised 6.
Because even though we lost against them 2-1 a couple of weeks ago, we dominated the midfield. Their 2 rejects in Cancelo and Lavia absolutely destroyed them. And if it wasn't for the fact that Colwell panicked and took Salah out, we would never have given away that second goal. Well, hindsight's a wonderful thing. But obviously, Arsenal have accumulated a lot of injuries. They're all over the place right now. They've just lost 2 in a row, Bournemouth and today, respectively.
They've dropped 7 points in their lot. Actually, is it 7? No, it's 8. They've
Well,
dropped 8 points in
well,
the
to be
last
honest,
three.
it doesn't matter because if Man City lose today as well, Liverpool lose today, there's your main contenders losing as well. So it's back to square one. It doesn't mean anything.
Oh yeah, the whole front end of the field is holding position. Everybody else
Yeah,
just gets to close the gap a little bit more, and
that's what I just said. Yeah, because if we beat,
that's the thing about the season. Even though Man United are in 14th, we only need about 2 wins whilst
oh
everyone
come
else
on,
around
bro,
us lose
we were in
to
14th
jump
last
into
season. Yeah, exactly.
to
And then we
jump all
put
the
a
way
run together.
into
We're almost in top
contention.
4, and that was with Poch. You know, but hang on,
Yeah.
do me a favor with your new manager, and I'm going to get the actual match in a minute. But I just because I always like to give a bit
Yeah.
of background to what's going on. For what you've seen of your new manager, Amron, yeah, tell me what you think of him for what you've seen, and tell me what you expect him to bring to Man United, and I'll give you my little lowdown on Enzo.
Well, it's going to be Ruben Nistelrooy that will take on this game. But as far as Amarim is concerned, what I've seen so far of him at Sporting Lisbon is that he's basically been what he's to him to Sporting Lisbon is what Arsenal wanted Arteta to be to them. Right, you're in a bit of a place of obscurity, not really doing anything that significant. You're the noisy neighbours in Lisbon. Benfica are you are Benfica's bitch in Sporting's terms at that point, and Ruben Amorim's come in and basically has ended like a 50-year
Dominance.
absence, a 50-year absence away from the top end of Portuguese football for Sporting. So he's done things his way as well. He's not like tried to adopt all of this like stuff from what other managers have done in the past. Say experimentation. I think he started off trying to use a back five, like a 5-3-2 or something. At the start, or a five, well, yeah, I think it's 5-3-2 or a 5-2-3 or something. And he's sort of morphed it as he's sort of gone through the years there. He's progressed it and made it a much more attacking sort of team. So one of the things I can say as a takeaway from Amarim is that he can run a setup both defensively and offensively.
Balance,
but it just depends. Yeah, so I think he probably run with it being like it's like set plan A and also a plan B. And I suppose that's one thing that I could say he's got a leg up on someone like a Ten Hag from a tactic basis, because Ajax fans told us Ten Hag was stubborn, like really, really stubborn. He won't change away from what he does. Whereas Amarim, whilst he may be stubborn in what he wants to do on the day, if things change, if a situation comes up, he knows tactically, plan B. Yeah, adapt to what the situation is, like better prepare for it. And one of the things I can also say about is what other people have said about his man management style. He's quite charismatic. He does carry a lot of sort of familiarity with players. I mean, Johnny Evans is only a couple of years younger than him, and he's going to have him as a player that he's coaching.
Don't knock him. He's the only one with a Premier League winners medal there, bro. Don't knock him.
He scored the winning goal against Ruben Amorim at Braga in the Champions League of the 2012-13 season. So they've there's a sense of familiarity there. But one of the things I will say about management style is that having a lot more of a compassionate, communicative approach to players, the more arm around the shoulder, he will probably have that sort of feel about him that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had when it comes to player management, like arm around the shoulder, understanding the players. The players relate to that a lot more, probably respond to it better, and will want to play more for their manager because it's not a sort of very cutthroat, go to the media, say X, Y, Z about players, even though technically you
Yeah, blame the
feel as
players.
though the criticism publicly, you'd want to say they should respond to that and prove the manager wrong. Certain times, dependent on the character of the player, that can work. Other times, you need to be much more
Well,
like
well,
under
can I ask
wraps
you a
with that.
question? When you said a minute ago about the players reacting to the media, now you said about how much Ten Hag went to them. Is it the fact of with them lot? Because you said about adaptability. Now, I sort of relate to your situation in terms of you've got an incoming new manager, and in the sense that
Mm,
we've got a manager that's new, right, and he's from the
yeah,
Championship and all
yeah,
that kind of thing. Because I will say this, compared to someone like Lampard or Potter,
mm,
Enzo does set up tactically, right, in terms of he tries to like lock teams out or he
yeah,
tries to like. But he's
yeah.
when it comes to his adaptability when teams trying to work us out back, he's slow to counter that. Would you not say that's a fair analogy from what you've seen of him? Because he'll set up like with Liverpool, for example, Newcastle, our
Mm,
last not last game, but last game we won. We were trying to play in behind them direct over the top,
mm.
but yeah, when they
I d-
adapted and kept a deeper line, we struggled again. You know what I mean?
mm.
There's no adaptation there.
Yeah, I think with Enzo
Big up
Maresca,
Leroy.
again, I think give it
Another Man United fan here, Fuzzy.
good stuff.
Aussie
Good to
one.
know. Good to know. Um,
Cordy.
Also, commiserations to Ola as well, by the way.
Love you, Leroy.
But yeah, for me, with Enzo Maresca, I think probably a bit of time and patience
Oh,
to
Liverpool
be a
spun it
bit
around.
more, yeah, turned it around. Familiarity with the Chelsea squad, figure out the best team to go with, and I think knowing what his best starting 11 is going to be. Because one thing I see with Enzo Maresca is he does rotate a lot
Yes, he
with
does.
players and starting 11s. It's a lot of rotation, a bit of tinkering. You could say you give him a bit of patience with that because maybe he is trying to figure out what dynamic is the best suited for Chelsea's strongest 11, and then maybe he starts rotating a lot less if you can figure that out. But I
I
think
think it's
for the
fitness
short
with
term,
Lavio and Reece James and them, where they're starting to come back into the team. You're starting to see that now, where like after
mm,
50 minutes, we'll start taking 3 or 4 guys off.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's,
yeah,
oh, big up Anthony. But what a load of rubbish performance today. We're going to build a bonfire next match to track the blast. So long chats. all right. You don't need to be so dramatic. You don't need to be so dramatic, lad. All right. Calm down. It's only one game. Like, you should try being with us for the last couple of years about how like injury ravaged or like crap we've been. You've
mm,
not been in bottom half of the table over the last 5 years. You don't know how it feels. All
yeah.
right, isn't it
Yeah.
fuzzy? Like below 10.
It's fine though, Wolf, because this is the beginning of the end for Arsenal. It's a golden
Ooh,
generation, the golden Mikel generation. It's the end of it now. They'll
golden what?
slump down the
Go-
table.
wait.
We'll
Golden because
take
they won a
over.
community shield. Right.
Oh, that's
What makes
true.
them? What makes
That's
them
true.
go? Wait. What title did they have
They got well.
to be
That's the thing.
classed as golden?
Well, that's how Top Gooners perceive it, isn't it?
Oh, you mean
They're
the paid
better.
Muppets? Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Sorry.
their
Yeah.
players are better than Prime Real Madrid, for Christ's sakes.
It's a gal settings, is it? Okay. All right.
Well,
Sorry about that.
probably more Duad. I think Duad's probably a little bit
All right.
worse.
Okay.
The
All
guy
right.
that cried about there being consolation
I,
prizes for
I'll tell you
spending
what.
the
Yeah.
most amount of time in first place.
I'll tell you what. Yeah. I've not been disrespectful, right? I've never seen in my lifetime. I love some Arsenal fans. My twin is an Arsenal fan. I love certain Arsenal content creators, but I've never seen a group of people so happy to be second. And it's just kind of like,
You've got you can say that with Arsenal fans and Man United fans. I mean, bloody hell! Post Leicester game midweek, somebody was asking one of these fans about, oh, who would you out of these two managers, who would you choose? He opted Amarin and Ruud van Nistelrooy. He's like, I'll go with Ruud. And he goes through Ruud van Nistelrooy for all of these different managers, like I think got likes of Graham Potters and Nagelsmann's and Thomas Tuchel's, and he's actually going with Van Nistelrooy for all of these people. And then he got to Kieran McKenna, and then he switched to Kieran McKenna. And I was just like, thank fuck that Omar Barada goes around and thinks, I've got to build this team to win Premier Leagues, and goes with one of the better options of managers out there and not leave it to fan influence or fan intervention. Because one thing I'll say for what Ed Woodward once said about fans is that, oh, they're hysterical, ignore them. I mean, it's like, you're son of a bitch for that comment, first and foremost. But second off,
He's
that
right.
does apply for some of them.
Yeah.
It
He's
does
right.
apply for some of them.
It's when you point out a home truth. That's basically what you're saying. I even say it with certain Chelsea fans when I heard last season we should have been in the Champions League. Now, I'm not going to mock Chelsea fans for thinking that, but the one thing I will say, when they thought we could get Champions League football last season because our squad was so good, I was looking at certain people where half of them have never even played for Chelsea for 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, what makes you think they're going to just like gel together that quickly? And part of it was injuries. And you sort of saw it get a little bit better in the second half of the season last season with Poch. But it's one of those ones where it's not so much injuries with you guys. I think with you guys, you've had the same. You're starting to change it more drastically now. Over the last couple of seasons, you've seen maybe better reputation players coming in. Like, because obviously you said about Ugarte, which is one. Like, you know what I mean? You got Casemiro. Obviously, when he left Real Madrid and went to you guys, if he had someone like I don't know, an Ugarte with him from the start, you might have got a lot more out of him than what you did.
Yeah,
you know
Fred
what I mean?
and McTominay at that point.
Well, no, but Fred wasn't a bad player though. That's the thing. And sometimes even
He was
Mourinho
inconsistent as all hell, though.
Yeah, he was, but every player has his use. And I'm not being funny. You're supposed to be Man United. If you're telling me one player brought your whole team down, then I would simply say, boy, you're Man United, right? That sounds like Gary Neville now.
No, well,
you're Man United.
I wouldn't say one player, but more so the midfield contingent is very exposed for several years. That's one of the things that really grinded my gears, was how neglected the midfield was for such a long time. We're talking
JPT, if you want to join in with us, man, if you're up for it, we'll jump on.
But yeah, for me, yeah, that was not your
no. That's King Kai. Wait, that's King Kai to Arsenal fans now. What have I been saying to you guys since the day you got him? Just like in the big moments, he'll let you down. And so far, I've been proving 100. I can't believe people say, "Oh, he's done a lot better at Arsenal."
Mate,
no, he hasn't.
Man scored a Champions League final goal and dipped for the rest of his career.
Well, I'm not being funny. Looking back on it, now that he's the guy, I'm glad he scored it. It's the only fucking useful thing he did. And if he didn't do that, he would have done absolutely, or more or less, absolutely nothing. Let's go Team Sancho. That's an interesting thing. Are you worried about him coming back to bite you over the weekend?
I don't know if he's perceived as like a loan agreement for this season, that he can't play against his parent club.
Well, as far as I know, there's no agreement stating that he can't play against you guys.
I don't know. I'm hearing that there's quite a few people saying that he is. It's like being cup tied or something, but I don't know what that is.
I wouldn't even mind seeing Pedro Neto against you lot.
Yeah, areas. To be honest, I'd be more concerned about Pedro Neto myself, anyways. But as far as Team Sancho goes, I mean, I don't know. I know he's Maresca says he's been out with illness this week. Do you think that he's that there's a little bit of something going on as per like individual habits, or like a bit of like a slacking in seeping into his demeanor a little bit, or has he been behaving himself?
Well, as far as I know, Jadon Sancho has been all right. There's not been any big leaks in terms of regards to his training. I know he has this thing where, he does turn up late in his career, but as far as I know, there's been no issue with him, as far as I know. I'm not being funny. Like, I think with the back end of the season that he had with Dortmund last year is like I think he had a good run in terms of the end of the season. He went to the final with Dortmund. Granted, they didn't win it, but he was a big part of how they got there. Now I'm pretty sure with him, you might have had similar frustrations with him as a Man United fan when he was there, but you can see the talent and you can see why on his day he's like a really dangerous player, but there's just a lack of end product from him. And the thing is, because I'll never forget when we went against Liverpool a couple of weeks ago, right? He was 1-on-1 with Trent Alexander-Arnold about 8 or 9 times, and he beat him a few times. But even after he beat him, there was no quality in the final pass or cross or shot. Yeah, because normally I thought once you beat a guy, that was when you're in deep trouble.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to Jadon Sancho, you can beat a guy. No, there's still a considerable amount of work. Do you know what I mean, Fuzz? Like, did you see something similar at United? You know what I mean? Like, give me your take on it. Oh wow, Forrest are pieing in West Ham now, boy.
Yeah, Tony in the mud. He's gonna have to wear that. He's gonna have to wear that doctor's mask again. Not hide his identity for a week. But yeah, Sancho
in their place. What's your tongue, Leroy? I'll cancel my subscription to the Fight Week show, you bastard. No, I'm joking. Sancho didn't have anyone overlapping that game. It was not his fault. Well, no, I'm not saying it was the whole 11's fault, bro. Because as I said earlier on in the stream, if Levy Colwell doesn't take down Salah, I'll take a draw. But that's by the by now. But anyway, sorry, Fuzzy, you were saying. My bad, man.
Yeah, for me with Sancho at Man United, it was quite a common case that it was a lot of instances of a lack of end product that you see. You see clips of him like with the ball at his feet dribbling, but nowhere is he in danger areas when he's doing these things. And I'm thinking, it's all well and good you beating a player or humiliating a player here or there. I would like you to be humiliating players in the box. I like you to be doing this crazy stuff where it's like you beat the man by embarrassing him, nutsing him, or just breaking his ankles and ending his career, and then playing the final ball, the final pass, or being able to use your technique to bending something far post or something. He never really exerted that sort of thing that he had when he had at Dortmund, where he had a bit of a higher output, target man in the middle to play in. But it's like Sancho was missing something. Like I feel like he has been missing something since his days at Dortmund. At Dortmund, he looked like he was actually really enjoying everything and was like really giving his all.
It came naturally to him.
Yeah. And then with Manchester United, it's just like he almost slowed down a little bit. He sort of became it's just another piece of furniture. And I think and I suppose you can't necessarily just solely blame Sancho for it, but the mentality culture at Manchester United is so crap. Somebody who's not got a strong mentality going into that environment is not going to fare well. And it's going to come back to bite them on the arse sorely. So for me, Sancho, I think it was just a bad mix between club and player, and I think he needs to have the environment where his personality is not allowed to rule him. Basically, he's kept in line, he's kept in check. He knows that he can't strike out because nobody else will be on his side. He'll be completely on his own if he strikes out, and that he just puts his own ability first. And I think that's what he's got to really find. And when he can do that at Chelsea.
But was that the whole problem with the Ten Hag era then? That maybe everything just felt inhibited?
Well, yeah, you could say that with a lot of the other players. I mean, Rashford's still here, and he's still exerting the same problems.
He's crap, man.
He doesn't offer anything. I mean, sometimes when he's feeling happier, I'm thinking, why does it take for you to feel happier just to have any sort of impact on a game when you have potential
Get
to a lot of
angry.
talent.
Yeah.
It's like you need to want this. You can't just say, "Well, I love Manchester United. You know, this is my home. I like don't question my commitment for this club." Stop talking and start proving it, because these people don't just start saying this for the sake of it. They'd say they've got this problem with you. They've got this say this agenda with you because you've given them the agenda to have with you. Like you've planted the seeds of doubt in their heads. That's the whole point of being a professional footballer
Yeah,
at the
you prove it
highest
on the
level.
pitch. Yeah, you prove it on the
You
pitch. That's that
you're
simple.
you're not just out there as a player. You are a role model. You're an example setter. You're the standard bearer. And you know, for whatever it is you do with your actions, is the message you put out there. Your social media impetus, your PR statements, all of that stuff matters absolutely none to me or to anybody else. It matters what the devil in the detail is with your game, and that's all
Well,
we care about as fans at the end of the day.
well, the thing
Ultimately,
is, back in the day in football, the priority used to be you answer to the fans. They're the be all
mm.
and end all of any football
Well,
club.
you still see that habit with European clubs, like for instance when I
Hmm.
think it was Lyon or something were playing bad, and then their fans had literally just none of them left end stand or something. All the fans had to go over
Bro,
to them
bro, did you see
and
what happened?
answer
Bro,
to the fans.
did you see what happened when Juventus lost to AC Milan last season? And the Juventus ultras were sitting there talking to the players. Did you see that? A
Mm,
couple of well, I think it was either last season or the season beforehand, and the ultras are telling the players off, bro. Because that's the difference, bro. And like
mm,
now, that's the one thing about English football that's kind of dissolved in terms
mm,
of the emphasis throughout all football history in England used to be it's
mm,
about the fans. You know what I
mm.
mean? Like, and even footballers used to say it in say prime Premier League years. You know what I mean? Because you said about a minute ago about being happy. How many times? Okay, how many times as a Man United fan did you watch Wayne Rooney hit one because he was pissed off?
Yeah, there's one point where he'd scored an absolute screamer, but he didn't celebrate because he was too pissed off with the referee.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally
Well,
hit it from fucking 40 yards straight in top bins. Old Trafford is losing it, and he's just there effing and blinding at the referee. I'm like,
you, you,
well, there
you
you go.
you know who was a master at that? I'll tell you what. You know who was a master at that, right? Of exerting different motions, and he was quite good at it. Henri. Because
Mm,
when that guy used to score, yeah, I'll never forget when one of the biggest hype games I've ever seen as a Chelsea fan against Arsenal was when Mourinho and Wenger clashed at Highbury in 2024,
mm,
and it was all like all the build up for it was all classed like Terminator 2ish and all that kind of. They called it Judgment Day and everything. But I'll never forget when in a way in 4 minutes Arsenal took the lead. And when he shot and he scored, he didn't celebrate like because at that point I was Chelsea trying to dethrone Arsenal or Highbury and all that. But he didn't when he scored. It wasn't like he was like all happy. He kind of like looked at us like as if to say, "Who the fuck are you?" Like, nah. Yeah, that kind of like way about. He's just shaking his head. Like, nah, these guys are no one. Let's try and take them out. Obviously, John Terry, the wife molester, equalised. But but it was like it wasn't. Because this is the thing. Why do players have to be happy to play well? You're a professional footballer.
mm,
Play well. Because and this is one thing I like. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, John McGovern, the midfielder that played for Nottingham Forest. He played for Derby. He played for Leeds, right? And then he
mm,
said something interesting. I watched on one of his podcasts recently, and he went, "When I used to play football, when I used to be inside the ground, I used to hear 25,000 fans cheering my club's name. That gave me a
yeah.
lift. That motivated me. That made me want to
Mm,
play for them even harder." And I speak to some of the other players that are in football nowadays, and they say, "Right, well, how do you feel when there's 30,000 fans?" He says, "Well, it's just part of the game. Like, I don't really take much notice of it. I don't really enjoy
yeah.
it." And John McGovern said, "So why are you in the game then?"
Mm,
You know what I mean? These are the sort of things you should be living for.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know about you, but like when I used to play FIFA or whatever I was growing up, when I was like 14, 12, whatever, when I used to play career mode or whatever else, that's exactly the reason why I played it. So if my team won and scored loads of goals, like, whether it be player or manager or whatever else, you'd hear them chant our names, correct?
Mm.
Well, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe like it's because of social media and stuff. Baratelli, when asked why don't you celebrate, does a mailman celebrate when he drops off your mail?
Facts.
There you go. Why is
No,
it
he
always
celebrates
me?
when he sets off fireworks in his bathroom.
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember that? Yeah, that was crazy. He set off fireworks in his house. Yeah, I remember that.
The amount of shit that this guy has done just to take the piss. It's like, I've got lots of money, so I'm going to do this. I'll give him credit where credit is due with a lot of
Nah,
the charitable work that he's
I'll
actually
tell you
done.
what. You know what it is, yeah. Certain of these players, right, especially with players with character. Now, I'll tell you what, yeah. Players with character. You got your Craig
Mm.
Bellamy's, your Jeremy Ballards, your Mario Balotelli's. You know, like players that are like, because even some of the biggest characters I've seen, because Jimmy Bollard was who remembers watching Jimmy Bollard play, the guy that played for Fulham, and I think he played for Wolves as well. He wasn't the greatest player, but he was by far one of the funniest, because he used to do stupid shit like play leapfrog over players and stuff on corners and stuff like that. He just made it
Taking the piss out
funny.
of his manager as well with
Yeah, he was
the
saying,
whole celebration of the team
yeah,
talk.
with the team talk, yeah, when he was pointing, he just like he had character, and that's what made him fun to watch. Ronaldinho
Yeah.
as well, right? A guy that had character. That's Ronaldinho.
Yeah,
You know, but the thing is, he was doing all
really
the tricks and the
humble,
skill. Yeah,
really humble character on the pitch. Shame about the illegal, like the legal side of things outside of football to become a prison FC superstar. But
Brazilians,
it's
man, they always
just
find a way to get themselves into trouble, bro.
yeah, Danny Alves as well. I mean, that's another one. But I don't know.
Anyway,
I think
yeah,
Robinho as well. Robinho's
yeah,
done
yes.
something.
Sorry, to do drug smuggling,
Who
that one, wasn't
else?
it? I'll tell you what, though, if you want to talk about outside of football, who's doing really well for himself and can actually laugh at the rest of football, Matthew Flamini.
Oh yeah, billionaire now.
Yeah,
Man's
he's
a
a
billion.
multi.
Goes
He's
from
a
being a
multi. He's
millionaire.
probably worth more now than Ronaldo and Messi combined in their primes on their day back in the day.
This man could walk into a meeting room with the Kroenkes and just slam down a table bid that's like reasonable to buy Arsenal Football Club, like quite easily.
It'd be like, yeah, here's my money, because I can't remember what product he got involved in, but he really helped it boom, and he is a multi-billionaire right now. You know what I mean? Now, of everyone that walked away from football, he's like, I'm not thinking about football. I was more. That's the thing. He had a half decent career, but the fact that he's gone on to be even more successful as a businessman than he was as a footballer kind of says, like, yeah, he's got something about him at least. You know
Well,
what
I
I mean?
we can appreciate it. It's a sort of
I
life that we
respect
all
it.
want to lead. You know, do your dream career at the start, play it throughout your best years, have all the fun in the world doing it, take a bit of success away whilst you're doing it, and then live your life kicking your feet up with the billions just coming in, raking in billions. And it's just like, it's not like what some other footballers do where they jump to punditry or take on these gigs.
And I wonder
Go
if
on.
Matthew Flamini was thinking about how sad his football career made him when he decided to become a multi-billionaire. I'm sure happiness had fuck all to do with it. He just used his brain and thought that was a good idea.
Yeah.
He who dares wins. Sorry, I had to
Yeah.
drop the devil. All right. Sorry. Right. So back to the game. Right. As big up, Gavin. Sorry. How you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. Now, tell me, sorry, as a Man United fan, because obviously we're pretty much still Cole Palmer FC, even though we're getting better. Like obviously, people like Jackson's doing well. Pedro Neto, I still think was the best. See the best out of him yet, but he's starting to get the odd goal, the assist. You know what I mean? Like, give me your take on like, who you think the bigger threats from Chelsea are going to be on Sunday, bro. Like, who are you worried about? Like, how are you viewing this one?
I would have to say that I think one of the things I need, I've said it on my own preview I did yesterday. I need to see Manuel Ugarte do an Ander Herrera job for me. Follow Cole Palmer everywhere. Just stay on him and keep the options of passing or setting play through him limited. Make Chelsea have to bypass the midfield more and shut down a lot of the play in that area of the pitch. So I think Cole Palmer linking up to his wingers is probably the biggest, most easiest way that Chelsea will get in, get run-ins on our defence and into our against our goalkeeper. Playing out wide to Neto or Madueke and then just having them run at the fullbacks, cut back pass here or there into where Jackson is. I think that will cause us problems. So I think one of the big things that they need to look to doing is shutting Palmer down. Rule him out of the game a little bit. So I think for me, Cole Palmer is easily your biggest threat in the team, but past Palmer, I think those wingers are going to cause problems. Taking it more to the byline and with how Neto plays, either charges it to the byline and keeps the ball and takes it into the box, goes for a cross, goes for a pass. He'll switch things up, and he does it with quite a bit of pace and intensity. Madueke is a bit more of a dribbler, wants to beat his man off the dribble. So there's two different types of wings, you could say there, and two different ranges of threat. The cross over to the far post is probably a big risk as well for United because we don't deal with things back post all that well. I mean, Dalot, bit of a bozo gene. I mean, Madueke might have a bit of joy against him tomorrow.
Well, the thing is, even if we don't play Sancho, we've still got Mudryk. He's quick on his day. He's starting to hit a little, like a bit like Neto as well. Like they're starting to show what they can do. Obviously, Madueke, you said Jackson can go out left, and then Cuckoo can come in there as well. So because one thing about it is, the thing is, I actually kind of see our front because other than Madueke and maybe Pedro Neto, I wouldn't necessarily say going on to what Trip Vic said earlier, that every single player we've got that can play there is an out and out winger per se. Mudryk's not, Sacho's not, obviously Palmer's not because he can do his best damage as a number 10. So, but one thing I do think will help if the players switch positions. I think you guys, because Carver can go to the right, he can go to the left, he can go as a false 9. I think because obviously if you say Ugarte is going to try and pin down Palmer, then effectively you guys lose a man in midfield. Because if Ugarte's man marking him all game, then that means there'll be spaces everywhere he's not, if you know what I mean. And we could take advantage of that.
You can bring Casemiro back into the picture though to man the part or cut passing lanes. So I think having another player there in space, but I think that would have to be the case if Chelsea were to have way more of the possession than Manchester United. I feel like with Ruud van Nistelrooy's game plan, it's quite open. It's quite end to end. So I think in terms of
that might not suit you against us though.
It's a lot of transitioning because I could almost see that the same problems we'll have against you, you'll have against us. Because I mean, if we're talking about cutting Palmer's game out, you'll probably need to cut Bruno Fernandes's game out. Because if the space opens up, he's got an eye for a pass.
What's your feeling on Bruno, by the way? Because I will say that same player
horribly inconsistent under Ten Hag. Horribly inconsistent. He's great at racking up the stats, and I suppose it's one of those things where it's like he might be a player that doesn't have to play well to find the goals and assists. Like he just has the knack of doing it, and I mean, whilst I can say, well, that's a great thing, it's annoying when it impacts the rest of the team, and it's his last pass where he can keep something simple, but he tries to be the superstar of the show, overcomplicate the matter, and as what should be a simple goal for a Garnacho, an Ahmed, or a Højlund or Xerxes is much more difficult or complicated, and the chance fizzles out. So what we need to see is Bruno be patient with the ball a bit more, because I think he wants to be do things quite quick, and you need to slow things down a little bit because you've got the eye for creativity and you've got the ability to execute a whole array of different passes, crosses, you name it. You've got the ability to doing it. You need to have the mindset and the patience to really pick out what the right choice of ball is. Um, hold that. Hold that.
That's why I started grinning. Big up, Tony. Yeah, man. What can I say? I'm scratching my big hip forehead for you. Yeah, man.
Um,
Moyes in. Lopetegui out. I'm waiting for the
but
chance.
that JFL's going to be
Big
is
up,
going to be
Roll.
covering up a massive corner of the screen on Sunday. Julian fucking Lopetegui. Yeah, there you go.
Oh dear. Because I'm
Gotta
not being
love it.
funny. Going back to our game, I have to say I'm not. I'm more worried about Garnacho than I am Bruno. Because I don't know what it is. He's one of those players for you guys that whenever we come up against you, he always seems to play well, and it always seems that when I know when that Concedo did that horrible back pass last season,
Mm.
and it sent him on his way and he scored. I knew from that. I was just thinking,
It's one of those that you have a bad feeling about. It's like Man United and what is his name, Jordan Ayew, when he played for Crystal Palace. Every
yeah.
time, it's just like, mate, the guy's a bum. He sucks as a player, but you just always get that bad feeling about him. I don't know why.
Well, I'm not being funny. That's half the reason why I think we bought Fernando Torres, just to stop him scoring against us. Because when we bought him, he had a record of appearances against us 6-6. It was just
Yeah.
like Lopetegui trying to be more Tinkerman than Ranieri. You leave Ranieri alone. He was a good manager. That's a Premier League winner there. What would you know about that, mate? No, I agree with you on that one. I'm not sure exactly what Lopetegui's trying to accomplish now. And it's good. I think if Ten Hag was first, I think it's not long before the old Hammers fans are calling for this guy's head on a block. If I'm honest, because to be honest, he's kind of slowly. Was that 3 defeats in a row? They won their last game.
Thanks for turning up to enough to sack our manager, though, Tony. You might have caused a butterfly effect. We'll have to see.
Whoa. Ranieri loved him, Wolfie. No disrespect to that man. Yeah, I know. I'm teasing you, man.
Diddly ding, diddly dong.
And I hope you're feeling better as well, by the way, because big shout out to you, man. I hope you're doing well. And of course, catch Tony, Fuzzy, and Anthony, who's already going to burn his tractor tonight. If he makes it to Fives to Fire GTA style, you can catch the 3 of them on the takeaway tomorrow night. So that's going to be funny.
We could all be holding smoke by the time we get to next week's Wednesday show. Because if we end up losing tomorrow as well, that's all 3 of us. It's like who goes in the good? Who does go in the good?
The shitter, and the absolutely terrible. You can't put that on the title though, because hang on a minute. It's finished full time 2-1 to Bournemouth. So there you go. Man City holding corn. West Ham beaten confirmed 3-0 by obviously Forest. Yeah, you'd be laughing at him. Yeah, that's holding corn. But Brighton obviously didn't hold out again. I expected Liverpool to beat them anyway, to be honest. Oh, Salah scored again. Okay. Was it a penalty by any chance?
No, open play. 2 quick goals.
All right, I'm teasing because I'm not being funny. I get told about how great Salah is, but a lot of his goals are penalties. But yeah. But anyway, so as a Man United fan, what's your biggest worries against us? Because I'll be real, as a Chelsea fan, I've just got this feeling that you're gonna do what all teams do against us more recently, and that's just sit there and counter attack us.
I mean, it'll probably be more of a to be honest. I don't know with Ruud van Nistelrooy because I think he does like to. I think he will just want to. He does look like he can manage a game because he'll really open the first half against Leicester. Second half, he score a goal and manage the game a lot more. So he can approach this different ways. In terms of what the biggest problems for us will probably be is just the defense needs to be on it. I think just dealing with whatever sort of threat comes into the box, whether it's a matter of playing through the middle or playing to the byline from the wings and trying to play cutbacks. Because with Ten Hag at the helm, we'll always like go cut back pass. It's always going to happen. I mean, it was like Brighton at Old Trafford when they beat us 3-0. All three goals were literally carbon copies of each other,
Trevor, yeah.
and that we can say, well, tactically, Ten Hag didn't want to fix it. He just ignored it. So for us, whether it's another case that Man United will have to deal with more cutbacks again, I think it depends on what the setup tactically is going to be with that midfield.
Yeah, and who
If
we
there's
play
going
as
to be,
well.
because if we're going to have a big gap between defence and midfield, that's a lot of operating room for players like Palmer to operate within, and Caicedo if he moves forward into midfield.
Well, if
That's
Lavia
a,
plays tomorrow, that will happen. He'll come up and support. It
yeah,
depends, because if Enzo, for me, it really does hinge on whether. Because I'm not being funny. If we start Lavia tomorrow and Concedo, I think midfield wise we've beaten you already. Because I don't on your midfield. Okay, because who would you say is your typical midfield trio? Because it'd be Casemiro, Ugarte, and who? Because you'd probably
I'd
match
wa-
them.
I'd want to say that the first choice, first choice midfield at the moment is probably going to be Ugarte, Casemiro, and then Bruno in front of them. I think the question mark is what happens if Kobe Minu is featurable in that setup. Does he bench one of the players? I think with Ten Hag, it's difficult to say because you just change things all the time, and the
Mm-hmm.
players, even they were sort of like, well, I can appreciate wanting to rotate, but 1 week I can play well, the next I'm not playing. I don't know why. There wasn't that sort of consistency. That was an issue that came later on. But for me, I've been wanting to see Casemiro Ugarte, just from an experience standpoint, and we've seen it against Leicester where Ugarte can hold the fort down defensively when Casemiro can progress the ball a bit,
Mm-hmm.
gets closer to the box, immediately becomes a threat. I mean, that first goal he scored against Leicester City, pick that one out.
Mm-hmm.
Literally from
Good long shot.
edge of the box, top bins, right hand side, so unsavable. It literally came in off the underside of the crossbar. You could not get it further into the corner than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good
So
shot.
he's got an eye for goal with Casemiro. So I think
I like Cassie. I think he's still a good player, man. You just need to accommodate what his strengths are.
yeah, I just feel like again it goes back to a consistency matter. Yeah, you play well for one game. What happens the next game? What happens the next game? I mean, you put in a 7 out of 10 1 week. The next week under Ten Hag it would be a 5 out of 10. Does Rude have the same problem, or is it, are these players all of a sudden now? Oh no, we're definitely
Manager bounce.
yeah. We don't know. You can't trust these players.
And that's horrible to say as well, but he's
Mm.
right. Like, he's right. Because I'm not going to lie to you, right? And I'm not being funny. The only thing is, right, I've got two things on my mind, right? I'll be real with you. Well, A, you're going to sit there and counter because that's adaptations aside. Well, that seems to be my team's weakness at the minute. When the teams sit deep and counter us, eventually we start pushing up a high line and we leave space in behind us.
Mm.
And the only other thing is, right, the only other factor other than Garnacho, I would say, is Rashford. Because that's another guy that has a tendency to score against us as well. Because, like you said about the inconsistency, but he's consistently against us done okay. So, not as bad as Chicharito. I used to hate that guy so badly.
I got so frustrated with Hernandez, but I loved him at the same time. Literally, he's just that sort of third choice striker. That was just he'd be a bastard on that pitch, and the energy tank on him is ridiculous. Literally, he could start a game and it would be 99th minute, and he literally sprints from one box to the other like he doesn't care. He'll sit there with heart palpitations from doing stupidity with his fitness, and he'd just be like, "Worth it, mate, worth it."
Yeah, he was an all or nothing player, man.
Yeah,
good guy, man. I miss guys
Mm.
like that, man. Well, people that are
Yeah.
all or nothing kind of players, and
Mm.
that's what's missing. And that goes back to what we said about the passion about the game. And Chicharito wanted to score badly. That's the reason why
Mm.
he's got heart palpitations, because he busted a gut to get up the pitch. Like that's why I used to hate him, because that was the thing about Chicharito that was what made it so clever. He had the kind of like. He had that knack where he could find the space very easily, particularly in a quick situation. You know what I mean? He knew where to be at the back post. He knew where to be in between the two midfield defenders. He could pick out that pocket. And I'm not being funny. I haven't seen many players in the Premier League with that kind of awareness of space or instinct, if you like. You should teach a few of them around now how to do that.
I
But
think Vardy may have had it a few seasons ago.
no, Vardy's still got it. He's just old. That's the thing about Vardy.
You slow down a bit when you get older, so you see a lot less of it in the latter years. But when you're more in your pomp and in your sort of prime, you've got to show that sort of that determination, like have more of that energy that Vardy has, and it's like with N'Golo Kante as well.
Probably the only world class player they genuinely kept. Because I'm not being funny, right? I know a lot of people say Jamie Vardy's not world class, but I'm not being funny. You could argue that he is, because of the level of consistency he had and I'm not being funny. When you actually look at Leicester's title winning season, that guy played out of his skin good. I mean, like, no one thought this guy could produce the levels of football that he did and the mad goals that he did.
The goal against Liverpool that he had.
Yeah, the volley. No, but the thing is, he earned the right to win that, because I'm not being funny. At that point, Arsenal tried to buy him, didn't they? So it was just like, regardless of how good you think he is, he's still a Premier League legend. And before you say no, he's not. Yes, he is, because he won the league with Leicester. That was supposedly impossible. Theoretically, that should never. If you were a betting man and you looked at the odds that year, that was never happening. Ever in anyone's mindset until they did it. So it was against the all odds story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And us as a Chelsea fan, obviously being the famous battle with Stamford Bridge with Spurs and all that kind of rubbish. But hang on, but there's another thing I wanted to draw your attention to as a Man United fan, right? Because when you played against Mourinho last week, right, there was a very interesting question asked. And he said about the whole Ten Hag thing, because obviously his future was very much up in the air last week. And that's because obviously the weekend being the combination of it. And he turned around and said, well, if I hear the result of the charges against City, maybe I get my Premier League Winners' Medal and bonus. Did you hear what he said? Did you hear it? Did you hear what he said about when he said about if it's found out they're cheating and they get the points reductions and all the titles stripped away from him? Do you agree that maybe he should be sent a Winners' Medal and you lot should give him back his winning bonus? You know, a little.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, if it is, I don't think that they'll end up doing anything with those charges or necessarily stripping or giving the titles to everybody else who finished second place, but rather than they'll just have the asterisk next to them in the record books, or they'll just strip them and just say, well, the winner of the season is just null and void because the winners were cheating, rather than say, well, the second place team, they're the ones that got gifted it. I don't think the Premier League, even if they had the resolve to taking of course they are found guilty, that they would necessarily hand first place medals over to the second place teams that year. But I don't disagree when Mourinho said that the second place finish was one of his greatest ever achievements in football with that Man United team. I mean, it's not easy to finish second place in the Premier League season with your starting centre-back pairing as Chris Smalling and Phil Jones.
Well,
it's not easy.
Well, I'm not being funny. I never lost faith in the special one, to be honest, because I know in terms of modern football, he's seen as not the perfect fit for everyone because he's still so outspoken. But I'm not being funny. Tactically, the guy's second to none, and he'll get your team going. So, you know what I mean?
It'll make your team hard to beat, but he does need to have a backing and belief in him that his ways are the best ways forward for.
And he's won a trophy everywhere he's gone, by the way.
Except Tottenham.
He's won a trophy. That don't count. Tottenham's Tottenham.
Tottenham's null and void.
Wait, by the way, the reason why I say that's null and void is because he got them to a cup final and then they
And he got
sacked him.
Yeah.
So
He
he got them
won.
to a cup final. So that will have to be left on. That's one of football's great questions, isn't it? He got
And
to
the
a
thing
cup
is-
final with Spurs.
The thing is they might have said, "Oh, but he wouldn't have won it anyways." Why not? Even if it's against Pep Guardiola's Man City.
Well, he's
Look
beaten
at- look
Man
at-
City, Pep
look
Guardiola
at-
teams before.
Look at our finished dusted manager or ex-manager now
Beat City in the final.
beats it in a final.
Was it
So?
once or twice? It was once. No, was it twice? Because no. Who did you beat in the last season's Carling Cup final?
No, so in the Carabao
Season
Cup
before,
was Newcastle,
Oh, and then last season
and
was City.
it was FA
FA
Cup
Cup.
final. Same Manchester
Ugh.
derby. They won it 2-1. This time around, we won it 2-1.
Yeah, well, see, anywhere you go, no joking. But yeah, as I said, I don't think Man City are this unstoppable force like everyone else makes them out to be, and well, didn't Bournemouth prove that today?
Yeah.
So here you go. But Man City fans, finally, now that your squad is aging and everyone's starting to get injured, and now that everybody else's squads aren't injured, namely ours, you might see a bit of a power shift in the Premier League this year. I think it's going to be a lot more open this year than ever, because normally everyone thinks Arsenal or Liverpool or Man City are going to run away in some way. Well, that's not going to happen this year. Everyone's too inconsistent for a start.
No.
So, but do me a favour, for both teams, right? What do you think is going to happen with Chelsea, and what do you think is going to happen with Man United long term? And then we'll get a score prediction and wrap it up.
At Chelsea, I feel like the gun ho spending thing. I don't know if that's necessarily going to stop completely. I think they'll probably spend a little bit less here and there in future transfer windows. So I think Chelsea are always going to be teams in there competing in or around that area. I think it was a shock to the system at first, but if it becomes a natural habit, then maybe they get more used to it and start performing better on average. Your Premier League campaigns, and maybe the cups as well, FA Cups, Carabao Cups. I mean, you've already been to a Carabao Cup final.
We're already
against
out of this
Liverpool.
one as well. We got knocked out. didn't we?
Well, it's going to be the case that as long as Chelsea find a bit of a consistency factor, they know what their best team is. The manager gets backed properly, and they spend a lot, but it's built around that manager's image,
Yeah.
and he gets everything he wants. I think Chelsea, if they find that groove, will be a very tough to stop team.
Well, there's two things that fucked this up, right? Well, Jackson may be the solution, but I'll get to that in a second. But what the thing is with us, because of the man, a lot of people say this Chelsea team, but to be honest, it's the first season, maybe in about two and a half, since maybe Tuchel left, that we've actually got a football team being coached. Because Potter wasn't a hands-on coach per se. Lampard definitely wasn't per se, and because now you're actually seeing the players improve in areas. Because that's the one thing about it. Well, if you notice, that's what I hate about modern football as well. Managers come in and the players don't improve. Now, normally, if the players showed no improvement, that's normally when they used to get axed from clubs. But that doesn't seem to be, because of their marketing or whatever else. They seem to get more benefited at that than what they do nowadays.
Our league positions improved today, by the way. Without kicking a ball, we've gone up a place.
Yeah, well,
West Ham's goal difference, because they had more goals scored,
yeah,
but they've conceded way more now. So
True.
now we've gone back above them. Cheers, Tony.
Double
Thanks for that,
you.
Tony. Whee!
I would mock being a Chelsea fan, but I can't because we were there last season, so I'm not going to say nothing. I'll just simply say, yeah, it sucks, doesn't it? That's all I'm going to say, because it could so easily be us. That's the thing. And you're right, because I think two things that messed us up. A was the constant changing of managers. And B was the fact of we never had a dangerous guy last season to finish the chances that we made, because we made quite a lot of chances last season. And if we would have had the Osherman to kind of like be the icing on the cake and had someone that was powerful and could finish straight away, I think we would have been all right. But that seems to be more addressed with our general squad depth in terms of we got the Nkuku's fully fit or getting close to full fitness again, and he's competing with Jackson. There's obviously other players like João Felix. Now, João Felix, I don't know why we bought him. That was something I was a bit. Because he can play left, right. Yeah, he's a player that can play as a 10, left, right, and centre as well. So he's another guy. Where does he fit into all this for me? Because I'm not being funny. Why sign him when you could have signed Osherman? You know what I mean? Like, even if you break the bank out a little bit more to get Osherman, if you don't have Felix there, then obviously the funds are there to sign him. That for me, that was an eyebrow reason. Why we signed João Felix? I was just like, why? Why did we don't need him? We need an out-and-out striker. We don't need another number 10 because we got players. Mudryk can play there. Jadon Sancho can play there. You know, Palmer, that's his natural spot. We're not going to drop Palmer, are we? So, you know what I mean? Like, we had options there. So, for me, this guy is a signing. Now, he can finish, but he doesn't have enough about... He's kind of like Jackson, and he's not a killer. He hasn't got that killer instinct. So, mate, and there's this
talk... Gyökeres, maybe.
Well, no, you know what, Faz? I'll tell you what. I'm with because Jackson started the season so well, and we've actually because he was only what 37. Yeah, well, he was only what 32, 36 mil from Villarreal last season, and he's got 5 goals, 6 goals already, and he's doing the job. And I'm not being funny. He has a tendency to play well against you, just like Palmer does. So, yeah, I'll be interested in sticking with him for now and just seeing how it goes. Because if it's not broken, don't fix it. And I'm not being funny. With Felix there now and everyone playing and the side kind of settling down with Nkuku, Felix, Mudryk being rotated in, you know, Jackson, Palmer. Like sometimes it's Madueke starting, sometimes it's Pedro Neto starting. You're right, he does rotate a lot, but you can see where it's starting to take shape. You know, Sanchez. I think our biggest problem is still a goalkeeper though. Sanchez is not that guy, and I don't know how you guys are feeling about Onana now, but. Yeah, Sanchez, he's not that guy for us. All these playing goalkeepers, man. I'm not.
Yeah, Onana is. Everyone raves him being the ball playing goalkeeper, but he's not really a shot stopper. So that creates a major problem in and of itself. You could probably say Sanchez is a bit more of the same. He's not as much of a shot stopper as he is a ball-playing goalkeeper. But then you watch him play, and every time he tries to distribute the ball, he sends it out for throw-ins or plays it straight to the opposition. You're like, oh, well, that rules out the whole prospect of him being got ball-playing.
So why is he there? Like,
yeah,
I like Petrovic as well. I thought he was a good goalkeeper.
Yeah, yeah. You did mention about where I'd see the Man United thing going. For the next few years, and I think it's with Ineos, with the people they've got in charge, the aim is to win the Premier League and Champions League and all of those trophies, right? Ultimately win those, and anything less than that, I think they've set a time frame. I think Omar Barada set a time frame to say, well, by 2028, Man United has to be winning Premier League titles. By 2028, whether that's winning it that year or winning it beforehand, that's when we have to be like really up there and competing. So he's drawn the battle lines and the project time frame. Now it's to see us actually progress to get to that level, and I think there's going to be decisions they'll make that we won't see the results straight away. And I think it's one of those where sometimes you see things get a little bit worse before it gets better. And I think maybe Ten Hag might have been the first instance of that, because everyone's massively on Ineos's case. Oh, Ineos out. Maybe sometimes these projects, you do have to give them a little bit of time to really tease out what the project's going to look like.
Well, it's their first season, isn't it? Your new footballing department. It's their first season.
It's the first time it's the first time they've had to sack a manager as well. So they've already sorted out the first Ineos appointment in Ruben Amorim, which, given the circumstances of what other clubs thought about Ruben Amorim, we can only assume that he's a good pickup. Yeah, regardless of what sporting fans say about him, they worship the guy. We'll have to see if it comes to fruition, because as much as they can be the second coming of Jose Mourinho or the second coming of Christ, but yeah, words don't speak as loud as actions, and if they don't perform, or if they don't bring the results
On
in,
the pitch.
then it's that's all that matters. What happens on the pitch, and I think if Ineos can work on the matters behind closed doors, behind in the training grounds, everything that happens off the pitch, trust the manager to get it right on the pitch. And I think one of the things that is specifically picked out as well, the announcement for Eric Ten Hag joining the club stated the new Manchester United manager. The communication this time around says Ruben Amorim, the new head coach. You're not a manager, Ruben Amorim. You're a head coach.
Different
Leave,
setup, though, like you said.
leave all of the extra work to us. That's our field of expertise and professions. We'll sort that out. Focus on the players. Focus on the unity in the dressing room. Focus on the tactical setup, and perform on the pitch, and that's it. That's all you got to do. Apparently, no veto power for signing players, so I think it's a case that he has to, he has to play a certain way where the club are quite transparent with him as to say, right, so you say you need X, Y, Z, right? Let us have a look for those players, and we'll bring them to you. So he's going to have everything brought to him, but he can't say, oh, no, I don't want that player. No, I want this player. I don't want that player. That doesn't matter. So it's all going to come from Ineos, and people like Graham Souness saying, oh, it's Ineos guys. They don't know anything about football, do they? I'm like, come on. There's Omar Barada, for fuck's sakes. He's literally, whether you say legitimately or illegitimately, he was still in a position of power to oversee Man City, create dominance in this league, and build that team up. Well, of course, you get the financial backing. Manchester United can generate all sorts of financial backing.
Well, the thing is that what people think what happened with Man City isn't. No offense, Man City is just going through what you would consider their golden generation of players. Because one thing about it is, I know they had success with like managers before, but if you look at what Pep's done over the 9 years, because it's just been his team. Unlike say the Man Uniteds and the Chelseas, where I've had 4 or 5 managers in that particular time period.
Yeah,
he's stuck with the same players, but he's been able. Because don't forget, when Pep first came, he didn't win the Premier League. He lost. Conte won the Premier League. Yeah, Conte won the Premier League then. Then obviously the infamous battles that he had with Klopp. He spent billions getting that squad the way he wanted it before they became this dominant. People forget he had to change out all the fullbacks. He had to buy Rodri and replace Fernandinho when he was there. You know what I mean? Like, because Fernandinho... Sorry?
They finished third that season.
Yeah, they finished that. Yeah, because I think...
4th round in the EFL Cup, semi-finals in the FA Cup.
Who was second then? Was it Liverpool? No, it wasn't Liverpool, was it? I'm trying to think. Who was Man United? Was it you guys second? No, it can't have been.
16-17 season.
Who was second?
Team.
It weren't Spurs. Yeah, I was about to say, it weren't Spurs, was it?
86 points in that season. Man City finished on 78. 23 wins, 9 draws, and 6 losses.
Yeah, because that was the first ever. Oh yeah, that's the first ever time anyone in the Premier League season won 30 games. Let me just drop that in there. But yeah. So, what do you expect from this season then, Fuzz? Is it just another year of transition, and you just have to sail the good ship home, or what? Then, what's the expectation for this season? If those are all the long-term objectives you've just like reached out to me, what's the short-term outlook?
I think for this season, if we can, we're still in the Carabao Cup. We've still got an FA Cup. I'd like to see us push for Europa League and win a trophy this season. I think the minimum for Manchester United in every season, win a trophy, win something. As far as a league standing, league form, I know that I think top 4 initially looked like completely written off. I want us to make a push for top 4. Get into that top 4 positions if you can.
Everyone else is bad, so yeah, why not?
Yeah, so the opportunity is there. So if they can make good on that, I'll be satisfied with that season because I can say you've recovered the league.
We ain't Spurs. We ain't. Oh, sorry, we can't even say Spurs here. North London United.
North London forever.
The white and the red heart, like fuck off. Jesus,
Yeah.
we're not Spurs, mate. Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fair enough because you need to win and get back to winning ways. So, and I'm not being funny. Same kind of applies to us actually because if I agree, but if I had my per se, right, how this season ends, some North London forever.
North London. It's North London forever.
Coming from a Rangers girl, that's even funnier. She's way north. North. you rainbows and unicorns. We all know that means. But yeah, but the thing is, big up Steph. How you doing? I was wondering where you were doing. Like, big up Steph. How you doing? North London forever. Yeah. But yeah, similar approach because one thing about it is we're in the Europa League conference. Now I know this may sound stupid, right? But if we can push for top 4, similar to what you guys' ambitions are, get top 4, finish there, get back in the Champions League, and win the Europa League conference, I think that would be a good enough season because as JPT states and me, I've all stated with him as well, that once they learn how to win, as Mourinho once said, it might be like you just said about getting a cup as well, maybe the Europa League. You build that mentality. Let's start to build a winning mentality in this team.
We're doing what Arsenal team should have done with Mikel Arteta. Win some of your cups first, and then you'll build a mentality to want to win the Prem, and you'll get the grit in your team.
Yeah, not buckle under pressure.
They've tried to manipulate with dark arts, try to time wasting everything to get little results over the line, but then they've forgotten. Oh, hold on a second. You have to be winning all of those games to actually start playing around with dark arts. You can't do shit from a losing position.
Well, the thing is, with us, and this is one thing as a Chelsea fan, which would be a milestone for me as the club. If we win that Europa League conference trophy, and this is a rare achievement for any club in the world, we would be the only team in the world that has won every single European competition that's ever existed. So we would have every single European trophy there ever was if we win the Europa League conference.
Most trophy variation out of every club on the planet, supposedly.
We'd be the only team in the world that's done it. Won every, because as far as I know, that's the fact. That's pretty much a good achievement. If someone's going to turn around and say my club have won at every single European level that's ever existed, that's a pretty good statement, nah? Or am I wrong in that? That's a good boast? You know what I mean?
Is that Arsenal fans in the background setting on fireworks saying, "Yay, City lost"?
City lost, yeah. We're still in this.
Shout out the window. Don't forget Liverpool won. They'll stop the fireworks display.
No, I live in East London. I'll get my head kicked in. There'd be a glass thrown back in there afterwards. You know what I mean? But yeah, I agree. Like, just get to the winning mentality, and that's not a bad point actually. What you just said about Arteta, about how Arsenal they didn't, excuse the expression, groom the mentality of actually winning because they never actually won anything. So like I do hear what you mean about that kind of thing, and that's exactly the point I just made about that's what I want to. There you go. But City, but City lost too. But another quote from the gunner there. But yeah, like because the one thing because that's a pretty big boast. You know what I mean? Every single European club trophy that ever was. You know what I mean? Like I would literally like get gas for that, and I'm not being funny. A European trophy is never bad. And back that up with Champions League football next year in a team that looks like they can play and something that you can build on. You know what I mean? Like what more can you say, you know? But it'll have to tell because as much as I'd like to brag about how your team's in the mud and mine's not, that's not really the case. Because if you actually look at it in terms of projects, mine is 2.5 months ahead of yours. In terms of, or maybe 3 at a push when your manager actually takes charge. So we're in similar positions. It's just going slightly better for us now than what it is for you. So Crown Jewel, isn't he? What Fuzzy or Trip Vic? Oh, he's working right now. Typical. All right, fair enough.
Crown Jewel is the Saudi event that's going on with wrestling, isn't it? This weekend.
Is it?
Yeah, Saturday night.
Oh, it's just
So,
WWE, is it?
yeah.
Oh God, that's the sports version of EastEnders, man. I don't watch it. I stopped watching WWE a lot. Like once you discover UFC, that's it. 500 million for the crown jewel. 500 million. Wait. 500 what? So who's competing for this 500 million crown jewel then? That wait, why is it?
I
Yeah,
think it's
no, I'm not being funny. Why are they playing to stereotypes? That makes no sense. Oh Lord, because it's kind of like, oh, Saudis chuck money all over the place. Here you go, come to Saudi and crown jewel event, 500.
conflict of interests.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, I don't do stereotypes, man. Sorry, it's high time on pay-per-view. I bet it is.
Yeah.
Hey, allow
Allow
wrestling
wrestling.
fans. I'm not getting onto wrestling fans. I'm just saying once I discovered UFC, and you kind of never look back, because when you actually watch someone get their jaw cracked, it's a lot different to someone that's like put their hands up, drops down, puts their hands up, drops down again, put their hands up, and just as it gets the drop, like, well, no, I'm still conscious somehow. I'm in a move that's supposed to put me out cold, but somehow, hang on, no, I'm feeling the energy. I'm hulking up.
I think what it is that a lot of people that want combat sports only really sort of cover boxing and UFC or MMA, and that's just like that's what their enjoyment is from it. But then they'll look at something as like a staged combat sport, and you're just like, why does that exist? And it's like it's basically meant to be a live action pantomime of a combat sport, and that's literally what it is. It's
No, it
pantomime.
isn't.
Oh yes, it is.
Sorry.
It's one of those where the people that just don't get it, don't really want to understand what the whole purpose of it is, and some
Yeah.
people like it's weekly episodic television. It's it's combat sport, but it's on a week to week basis.
Mhm.
So it's like people get absolutely bludgeoned, but then all of a sudden it's just like, oh well, next week I feel really fine. Like
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the other thing about that as well. Like, he's getting the being of his life, but don't worry, he'll be back tomorrow.
they'll get stretchered out with the neck brace and everything,
Wait,
but then they'll be doing
UFC
backflips next week.
Wait, UFC is great and WWE is better. Okay, right.
Two different worlds.
Wait. No. Look at if you actually look in the dark history of WWE. Look into Stone Cold's history. He was a wife beater. They protected something because he was making Vince McMahon money. Chris Benoit murdered his whole family. China, who you guys may remember back in the day being Triple H's mate. Him and Hunter Hearst Helmsley or Triple H, whoever you know, him and Stephanie McMahon fucked her out of the company and pissed her off and like done her really read into that's why Jim Ross came out after he left the WWE saying being the WWF talent scout shortened his life. Go and find out why it shortened his life. Yeah, is what you know. Those that know. Oh yeah, and Bret Hart, by the way, was the best wrestler ever anyway. Because like he was the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. One night in China was like, you fucking sick freak. This is not Astrid settings today, DJ.
You've forgotten the biggest of all the scandals. Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
What about him? Which one?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Which scandal?
Yeah, all of them. The whole just Vince. Literally, there people say, right, pick the best heel. They'll include all of these persona characters, and then there's one at the bottom that says Vince McMahon IRL, and everyone just selects that.
But he was a good bad guy because I remember Vince. I always preferred Vince McMahon was the commentator though, because back in the day when I was growing up watching wrestling in the 90s, like late 80s, like in the mid 90s, and then the late 90s, Vince McMahon was a commentator up to 98 before the stuff with Vince McMahon. Like, before, I'm so sick and tired of watching you walk around with that. Because I remember him when he used to be calm, watching that. Oh my God, unbelievable maneuver! Boom, shakalaka, you know what I mean? Like a 1, a 2, and oh no, he didn't get to count there. You know, that's the Vince I remember. Like, and I missed that Vince because he was a good commentator. He had good energy, and it's only when And I have to say, this is one thing I do rate. The only real screw job that ever happened in the WWF was when they screwed Bret Hart out of the WWF title before he went WCW because he didn't want the men's title dropped in a bin like what happened with. Because I know, do you know what the Monday Night Wars is, Fuzzy? When WCW and WWF were battling it out to see who was going to be the best wrestling company.
Yeah.
Right, we'll put it this way. WCW stole their WWF Women's Champion. She took their belt on WCW live channel, took their belt like that, and dropped it on the bin.
Was that Shane McMahon as well that went to be the lead character in the WCW or something?
No. That was many years. No, that was many years afterwards when Vince bought WCW in 2003 too, when the Monday Night Wars ended. But in its heat, in the late 90s, early 2000s, literally because what happened was the WCW had took all the main roster of the WWF away, and that's what they kind of saw. They're getting better contracts and all that. But in return, Vince McMahon, with some of the help of Jim Ross and a couple of the others, was smart. Because basically he took what they saw as the future stars, like the Chris Jerichos, the Eddie Guerreros, all those guys away from WCW. So it took their underbelly out. So you've got loads of guys in their late 30s, early 40s and all stuff. They're big stars and whatever else, but they haven't got long left. And now when it comes to the rest of your roster, you've got no one to turn to now. So, you know what I mean? That's why when wrestling seen in its heyday, there's always particular people that are seen in its heyday, whether it be the 80s with Hogan or the late 90s, early 2000s with the Austins and the Rocks. Because as much as you can say, all right, wrestling still has its fans and it's still popular, it's not as popular as it was generally 10 or 15 years ago, because a lot of people see it now as fake, where back in the day you didn't care whether it was fake, you just enjoyed it. But there's not enough entertainment there, What are you studying? Because you're reading something.
Oh, no, I'm just seeing a video and I think someone's arm gets chopped off.
You what?
Yeah, somebody's trying to do maintenance on an escalator and they end up getting their arm chopped off, and he's just sat there holding his stumps just like, oh, my arm's gone. And this woman's just like, let me just call the ambulance for you real quick. It's just sat there so I'm like, oh, okay.
Bro, man, we got Fuzzy watching Snuff live on my channel, man. What's all this about? Wait, was that on YouTube?
No, Twitter.
Oh God! Oh yeah, no wonder. Yeah.
That and a massive, huge outrage about this pet squirrel that this guy had, and New York the governor said.
Did you just say huge outrage about a squirrel?
Yeah, pet squirrel. Basically, was a pet to somebody and was recognised on the internet because they've got these pet accounts that they have, and the government.
Did you see Smudgy? He's missing.
Well, no, the government basically raided and took his pet squirrel, and then killed it. Literally just took the pet and just euthanized it. And now everyone is.
Wait, why did the government raid his house to take his squirrel?
I don't know. There's
was it a Colombian squirrel or something? Was it like a hidden drug dealer or something?
No, literally Peanut the squirrel. Peanut the squirrel is called. Apparently, there's a pet raccoon that they had as well.
So there's all different exotic animals in the same place.
I don't think. I think it's just those two, but I don't know.
That seems a bit much for a raccoon and a squirrel. Yeah? What?
Yeah, they just take a squirrel, even though it's domesticated, and just euthanized it. That no apology, no nothing. Just we're just going to kill it.
And this was on Twitter.
Yeah. The video of the execution isn't on Twitter, but the news about it.
Wait. What do you mean, Rosie? I've seen about there's a campaign to get his. It's fucking dead. Why would you want to give it back as it is?
Yeah, they euthanized it, Rosie. They killed the squirrel.
It's dead. USA.
That's USA, New York.
We want our squirrel back. Well, here you go.
We want our squirrel back. We want our squirrel back.
Wait, wasn't there actually a thing about Arsenal a few years back when a squirrel ran to the pitch and they made a whole comic book thing about it or something? Was it a squirrel?
I don't know. I can't remember.
I can't remember. It might have been during the Wenger days actually. But yeah, it was the USA.
I know we had our own issues with rats at Trafford, but still.
Yeah, but they were in the boardroom, in the fucking locker room. They were everywhere, man.
Yeah, then there was all the
Oh,
rivals.
right. Sorry, Rosie. I apologize. There was a campaign to get it before they killed it. Why did they take it in the first? I'm not
I
going to
don't
get
know.
into this, man. This squirrel bludgeoning and raccoon murdering and...
Featured on the football show near you.
You're the one that broke it up. Like, you're the one telling me to get arms cut. Anyway, back to the footer. Back, because this is... I'm glad I'm not on Twitter, man. There must be some weird shit on there. Rosie is a savage. No, she's not. You leave Rosie alone. She's a bubble of awesomeness. Anyway, so just back on the football quickly, because I've just realised I've taken an hour and 40 of your time. What's your scoreline prediction for tomorrow? Give me a little spit.
I went
The
with
scorer was dead.
2-1. Yeah, I went 2-1 United.
2-1 United.
Mm.
I don't know why. It always seems to be when we're at home against you, we always seem to scrape it, and when you're at home against us, you always seem to scrape it, doesn't it? Can I just say, like, what was your thoughts on the 4-3 like last season at the back end? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I noticed we were winning that game.
Yeah, I know.
It was 3-2 at the time, and it was like, oh, this would be a great result and stuff. But then the team just fell asleep, completely fell asleep, and
cue the cold one.
That came at a time as well where we were just concerned about scoring a goal, because then we'd concede like 5 minutes later, and
That's
it
like
was
us.
literally a whole season. That was the problem, and we just collapsed when we conceded that third goal, and then the fourth one we just completely fell asleep.
Knockout blow, mate. And I'm gonna be fair, I think that will happen against us tomorrow. I think at times we'll switch off and you'll just get at us. I'll say 2-1 United to you guys, because I don't know why over more recent years when it comes to this Chelsea team and that Man United team, you've just edged us at Trafford.
I think it's a bit difficult for Chelsea to go away to Newcastle in the Cup, to lose there, and then to play your very next game is an away game again, but you're going to Old Trafford off the back of an away loss. And it's like, sometimes I feel like teams want to have a home game to sort of get the energy back.
Wait, who the fuck Arsenal fan? Who is a fake Chelsea fan? You don't know what being a fan is. Your main fan base is Top Gooners. Please check yourself before you wreck yourself. It's about fake fan. Oh dear. Sorry, Fuzzy. I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but when someone says fake fan, it's just like, yeah, check. You come from the Arsenal fan base, mate. In a gal we trust.
in Don
You're
Edu,
a wank. Forgive you. Oh, sorry. You said yank. I thought you said wank. Sorry, mate. My bad.
We're both. You're both.
You're a yank wank. Or a wanky Yankee. I don't know how to put that. Never mind.
In Gordon Ramsay terms, Yankee Danky Doodle Shy.
1-1 is not a draw, says Rosie.
It's a dross.
It's a dross, yeah. Yeah, but I said, yeah. To be honest, right, I think Fuzzy would agree on this as well. Oh, she says 3-1 Chelsea. Oof, you put too much pressure on us.
Oh no, Strip saying 1-1 Man United win.
Well, to be honest, I would say, yeah, that was, Trip said that earlier. Yeah, I noticed that manager bounce. That's why he's got the face sweating. Yeah, I know. It's just turned into banter. He's a Lee Gunner. He's Lee Gunner. Allow him, bro. Yeah, all right. Stop. You're making me blush, no Diddy. All right. Wait, your prediction. You put about 3 in. Yeah, you said 3-1. I know that's your prediction, Rosie. I said that. I was just talking about everybody else mocking. But anyway, big up, Fuzzy. What you got coming up on your channel, man? Anything over the weekend other than the takeaway? What you got coming?
Yeah, I think it's probably just the takeaway show that we'll have on the Sunday. Got the Europa League game midweek as well. So there'll be the previews either the Monday or the Tuesday for that, and then I think it's on the Thursday that we'll play. I believe it's Thursday that we'll play against PAOK.
DJ Crazy, I'm going 3. DJ Crazy, I'm going 3-2, but not sure for who. Anthony's been and gone, Rosie. You're a late arrival. Leave Anthony alone. He's done his bit. He's burning his tractor, apparently.
But he's probably burning himself on his tractor.
That was it. Hang on, there we go. There he is. Bonfire.
Going up the blast.
With a blast. So long, chaps. All right. There he is. He's been and gone, bro.
Yeah, well, I think Tony. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Tony, next week, what I want you to do is change Anthony Herbert's picture to a burning tractor with a headstone next to it.
All the rubber melting. Oh dear. Or do a Terminator one, but just do half of his face, and then on the other side you've got the front of the tractor all broken. That'd be
Like Two-Face, like Two-Face out of Batman.
Yeah, Two-Face out of Batman. I meant Batman. No, joking. Sancho was playing Chelsea could win. I don't know. He's feeling the warmth of his tractor. That's not a very nice thing to say. Oh, poor Anthony. So make sure you check out Fuzzy of course. Then tomorrow, are you going to be doing any? Are you actually going to do a watch along for the Europa game?
Probably not. I don't have don't have the time availability to do it.
Yeah, midweek games I'm always stuffed as well. Shame, innit? Never mind. But look, thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been a very, very, very I was going to say great conversation, but the last 15 minutes have just been fucking weird. Like talking about kidnapping squirrels and killing them and raccoons and diddies and roasted diddies.
Disembodiments and...
Yeah, I know, I'm sitting there trying to have a football conversation with this guy, right? And he's on Twitter watching people getting their limbs cut off. What the hell is wrong with this guy? Like,
I just need some side entertainment, Halloween's still like recent memory, still fresh in the mind.
Mon the squirrels. Rosie, don't be a bitch. Leave the squirrel alone, man. Like, no more squirrel puns. Like, that squirrel's dead, man. You weren't there. You don't understand. You don't know. And that's Vietnam. My bad.
Yeah, I'd be wearing a mask again. For my mask's over there.
Well, oh, yeah. What one you got? Your turkey mask?
Oh, no, that's coming later on. We'll have the turkey hat back later on. It's not far away. Once Mariah Carey's fully defrosted, then, yes, the turkey hat will be making a glorious return.
Oh, he's wandered off now.
It's this one. This little fella.
Oh, look, there you go.
I had a full black morph suit on underneath it as well. So.
Morph? What do you mean? I thought you said mork. Hang on. Anyone else think he looks like Ten Hag? Ten Hag's back! He can look like a skeleton. Bro, you look like Clarence the Cross-Eyed Skeleton. Like, put your mask straight.
A little bit oversized, so...
Can I ask you a question? When you first... I thought Ten Hag was back. Like, because you got the front of his head and everything. That's Ten Hag, man.
He's come back by, like Red Skull did in Infinity War. He's gone to an exiled planet now, and he'll just take people's souls.
Rosie says nice set of teeth. On this picture, it looks like he's got two sets. He's got the outer bit and the inner bit.
White to the mighty.
Oh, I'm not being funny. You scare me more like that. Put the mask back on. No, I'm kidding. All right, make sure you subscribe and like to this guy. He's a top guy, nice guy. Like Fuzzy, he's been helping me since day dot. You know what I mean? When I started to do football. Red Skull Hug. Yeah. No, Red Hug. Come on. Man United, Red Hug. Come on, you got it. Or 10 Skull.
10 sacked. 10 sacked.
Yeah, that was the movie. This is the reality. 10 Skull got 10 sacked. Yeah, that was reality. But anyway, big up Trip, big up Rosie, big up DJ Crane, big up Leroy, big up everyone that's been in. I'm trying to scan up to see who else. Steph as well, big up her. Obviously on Fuzzy's channel, doing our mod thing there. Big up the loser that is only does TV, and I'm not trying to take the piss. He is. He must be getting crackers. Big up Gavin as well, popped in earlier. Big up to you, sir. Good to see you. Long time. And obviously Aces as well. Big up to him. Fight Week show, Leroy. Big up to you. Obviously, Anthony was in earlier. Big up to him as well. Good bless you, good people. Dead Hug. 9 Hug. Well, yeah. Oh, there you go. It's just one of those things. Everyone's gonna be lots of hard jokes. Take care, all sweeties. Thank you, Rosie. You stay safe, blue sister. And big up Fuzzy as well for spending nearly 2 hours with him, hour and 46. He must be getting bored out of his life, bless him.
No, this show's actually gone quite quick, to be fair.
Yeah, it's been funny. It's been funny. ED Hug couldn't keep it up. Oh, right. Yeah. We're gonna leave it on that one.
Diddy Hog.
No. Oh, fucking God. 10 Diddy! 10 Diddy! We got 10 Diddy, mate. You're going to get me started on this now. That's why I'm going to start. I'm trying to end the stream so I'm not being immature, but you're going to.
Release the 10 Hard client list.
Oh, dear. Wait, 10 Diddy on 10 Diddy on the crown. How about that? Like, this is getting more obscene by it goes. But anyway, please make sure you smash a like. Please, if you're on Fuzzy stream, make sure you smash a like on this stream as well. Rosie, if I don't know if she's got it to hand or not. Put Fuzzy's link in the chat, please. Everyone go over to his channel, smash a sub onto him. Top guy. He's been literally with me in my YouTube like football days, literally since scratch. I've come up with this guy. We're still neck and neck, I think, subscribers wise as well, I think. And if I could, I'd give this guy 300. Help this guy get to 250 or 300 or whatever. Like, help him make his targets. Because literally, he was one of the guys that originally helped make this fun for me. So do all you can for him, please. I would consider it a good friend favor and all that. Lovely jazz. But yeah, anything else, Fuzz? Any jokes before we pump out of here? I do want to disappoint the audience. Are you 10 Hog in or out? No, looking.
I'll 10 Hog in. I think Nottingham Forest should sack Steve Cooper.
Yeah. And hire Nuno. Good manager.
Yeah.
Hindsight FC here, trust us.
So
we're not wrong.
News.
Talk shit. That's talk sport. My bad, sorry.
I think we should do that. I actually think we should make a radio show called Talk Shit and literally just have it be a complete piss take out of Talk Sport.
Well, I'm up for that. I could do a parody. Okay.
I genuinely think if we get a radio show on the airwaves, people will actually tune out of Talk Sport.
Well, we can make it a YouTube podcast, but then they could turn it into radio if we get enough followers. Because do you know, right? Okay, this is something funny. We made a joke. Do you know in the UK, Fuzzer, right? You only need 3 people officially to start a religion. They changed the rules a couple of years ago, so we could start it. The almighty religious order of talking shit. And then that could be our motto: talk shit, just like in Talk Sport. And we could just run with that, man. We could be onto something here. But if you ever want to do that as a YouTuber, as a mock, I'll definitely jump on that. And of course, yes, thank you, Rose. Literally, don't forget my boy, keeping it real, Chelsea, JPT. Hopefully him and the boys will be around tomorrow for my watch along with Man United, providing there ain't no building being done here. But yeah, it's been a blast, everyone. Thank you very much for your time and your effort. And I'll keep you guys in the distance. We'll see you guys in the future, distant or whatever. Take care, people. I'm out of it. I can't think of anything to say. I'm trying not to make stupid jokes. In a bit.